So this is the personal story of my logo. The reason why I chose the iconography of the white crow is complex and highly personal. It stems from a rather dark time in my past, a time where I was going through a lot of personal turmoil, coming very close to losing my mind and all I held dear. That was the early spring of 1999, 22 years and what seems like an entire lifetime ago. You see, I'd been married for 18 years and it was quickly coming to an end, as was my job as a senior designer at a company in Michigan, so it was definitely trying times. As a result of the divorce, my family was thrown into a horrible place and I was being accused of things which were not true. My ex-wife was attempting to alienate my two youngest children from me, and we had been ordered by the court system to undergo psychiatric evaluations to determine who was going to live with who. There were many rather nasty stories being spread around, and I was attempting to set my record straight. A graphic designer friend of mine, a Ukrainian woman by birth, mentioned to me one day in passing that from what I was expressing to her about my desire to be seen as telling the truth, that I sounded like a legendary Greek myth that she knew about, the legend of the White Crow. As it happens, according to this story, at the beginning of mythological time, all crows or ravens were white, and they were incapable of telling a lie. They were also associated with Apollo, the god of prophecy. Now, despite their truthful nature, they were said to be a symbol of bad luck and were the god's messengers in the mortal world. According to the mythological narration, Apollo sent a white raven or crow to spy on his lover Coronus. When the raven brought back the news that Coronus had been unfaithful to him and had borne a child, Apollo scorched the crow in his fury, turning the animal's feathers black. According to this legend, that's why all crows are black today. But I wanted my imagery to represent the original truthful crow, the white crow, and so I began constructing my logo. Thankfully, the psychiatrist that I was assigned to us at the time recognized that I was really trying too hard to overcome things that only time would rectify. He had a very strong background in Native American history and shared with me an important bit of advice via an Apache saying, "Never waste your time in the presence of those who disrespect you." Now, this is the version of the logo that I have shared with you up to this time, and it's only the black and white version, or more correctly, the white on black version. However, the original image was done in hand-cut vinyl on a clear background. I had several on the rear window of my car. This is what that looked like, minus a few important points that I will make clear here. First, you will note that the ring is brown, which represents the original concept of a wooden Native American hoop or a dream catcher. The round dots on the left side would be knots of sinew or animal fiber used to hold three cords. Each cord has beads. The first bead represents my oldest son, Brandon, who is represented by a yellow bead, as he is an air sign. This is Brandon. He is the head librarian and manager at the Mount Clemens Library in Mount Clemens, Michigan. The second two beads represent my middle son, Chase, who is represented by two green beads, as he is an earth sign. Now, this is Chase, and he works in the export-import business here near the O'Hare Airport. The third three beads represent my youngest son, Taylor, who is represented by three blue beads, as he's a water sign. This is Taylor, who is a manager at a big box store in the Detroit suburb of Oak Park, Michigan. And the final part that is usually not seen are the two iridescent crow feathers from an actual black crow, because, according to the Greek legend of the crow being burned and passing through the flames, the result, in the end, was that the colors in the feathers of the crow represent all the colors found in nature. The logo to me represented all of what I and my kids had passed through. So It was a hopeful symbol of resilience and strength, and of starting all over again at the age of 45. I've also done a considerable amount of work in putting together a header for my website, which is still in progress. Here in a second, we're going to be looking at the artwork that I've put together of the animation of a crow in flight. That's going to be used in a web banner, with the exception that now it will be changed and entitled Whitecrow Laboratories, as I own the domain for that. Anyway, I hope this explains to you all of the things that went into, and it's not entirely the entire story of went into my logo. And there's a hell of a lot more stuff that I could relay to you about that. And I guess I'll take questions at this point. All for now. See you in a few seconds.